All right, Impact Wrestling at Full Sail University, one day before Sacrifice. Now, I was considering skipping doing a review of this, not because of the situation in my building that had been messing with me, but it's due to the fact this is one day separate from Sacrifice. A lot of things just feel very condensed a lot of times. When you've seen, I know you guys have seen over the years with Impact Wrestling, they've done the same thing with this. They'll have a Impact Plus show, and the major problem was there was no time to develop it, and it just felt like it was just a waste of time. Not that the matches were bad, it just didn't feel like anything. But I will say this is the reason why I'm doing pretty much a review of it, but not very detailed. When you see what we've been getting from TNA, I will say this. Is it better than Impact was? Yes. I will say that, and I'm not going to deny it, and I'm not going to say, oh, I don't want to say that. I am saying it. I've always said everyone wait and see what we're getting from the newly rebranded company, which goes back to the original name it was, but it was rebranded. And the key of this was, would they improve production? Would they improve their character development? Would they actually care more about the wrestlers than they did before? Now, production has improved, which we know this. Is it because they got better people to run with what they got? Yes, let's make this very clear. They have not really improved a dramatic amount. Yes, they changed the lighting, and they also got better sets. Yes, but what it really comes down to is how they make production work. They still don't mic any of the fans. The lighting is pretty much still the same, even though it's a bit brighter. But the cameramen have improved. The way they switch cameras has improved, and that was the major sticking point for me for years. So I'm saying this right now, that they have improved. But then, if you look at how it is, it's still a big question of how far that improvement is going to go. Due to the fact of their partnership with TKO WWE, that could last quite a while. And that is a good thing. But it is still a question if TNA is really getting a great benefit working with TKO. Or they're not. They're just being used. Because technically speaking, and I don't believe anyone saying this, they say that they're getting a great opportunity. No, they're not. They're not. They're being used. This is the truth. Is it a big amount of being used? No. Let's make this very clear. It is a partnership. But if you look at how the partnership is being, when you saw Roadblock Tuesday, because I did a review of it, this could have been something good for TNA. What I said in my previous episode of NXT, it was a mistake what they did with Moose. Yes, it was. They could have used that as stand and deliver. That could have helped not only NXT get something even more interesting, but TNA, nope, didn't happen. It wasn't the fact that Moose lost. It was the point they could have done it in 40 days, gave Moose more time to work in NXT. No, they did a quick, very short, very rushed program. Now, I say this right now, we still got time before Stand and Deliver, and maybe there might be a match with TNA there. They may actually do matches there. I don't know if they will, but maybe they will. If they do, I will be glad to say I was wrong. But as it stands right now, where Moose, who is the X Division champion, had to job to Uba Femi, who is the NXT champion, on a regular show, which I know that just Alex looked at. He did review it and he loved it, which was wrong. Not that he didn't have the right to do the review. I do not agree with him because even though he did say he'd rather see that match that I just talked about on Stand and Deliver, you could tell that this is all main roster work. There is no Shawn Michaels involved in this. He thinks this is Shawn Michaels. It is not. It is Triple H. What's going on in NXT is mainly Triple H. I know the style that Shawn Michaels uses, and it is not that. No, it isn't. It's part of it, yes, but that is not all Shawn Michaels' work. It is Triple H's orders. No matter what anybody says, and even him. And I respect him. Even if no one doesn't like 100% just Alex because they don't like all the stuff that he says and what he does, I respect him. But what he said is not accurate. That is more Triple H's work and influence than Shawn Michaels' control. But this is not just about NXT. This is about TNA. And I will say this. Because of what development we had for a few people here, this is the reason why I'm doing it. The matches themselves, I'll go through the matches quickly. Generally speaking. Look, Eddie versus a Leon Slater. I'm glad they're using Leon. And I'm jumping right into it. This isn't the fact that Leon had to win. This is talking about who is going to get the lead with the steel cage match, which is, tell me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the stipulation for the steel cage match sounds like a lockdown match? Or a Full Metal Mayhem match? Doesn't it sound like that? You guys tell me below, which match do you think this sounds like? Either it sounds like a lockdown or a Full Metal Mayhem match. To me, it sounds like a lockdown match. More than anything else. The only thing that is not really being stated is any type of weapons being brought into the steel cage. It sounds like a lockdown match or a Full Metal Mayhem match. That's what it sounds like. And even though it's been, 6 years since they last did one, I'm cool with it. But I'd rather them, instead of naming it a steel cage match, why not say it's a lockdown match? Or Full Metal Mayhem match? I think that would have been better to say, don't you? Next, Laredo Kid versus Wesley. Now, Wes is going to have a match with his crew against the Rascals and pretty much Ace Austin. And as you already know, I'm saying this now, even though I've said this weeks ago, we now know, just in case you don't know, we now know that Chris Bay can walk again. Now, I don't know if he can walk normally, but he is able to walk. Just in case you didn't know, if you didn't see the video that I produced several weeks ago. Chris Bay can walk. Now, can he go in the ring? That is not even on the table right now. Let's just hope he can walk and can be able to bend and maybe be able to run or jog. Let's hope for that first. But I had to say it because of the situation that Ace Austin is in. All of the momentum he has now is because of what's happened to Chris. Not that he wanted it, but that's what's going on with Chris. And this is what's going on with Ace. I really believe that they got something with Ace Austin because of what happened with Chris Bay. They can push him. Right now he's working with the Rascals. I do believe eventually they may push him beyond the X Division. I wouldn't mind seeing him going into the world title picture. I do believe that would be the best place for him. Now, next match. This is where I can't really say much about it because I did not see last week's Impact. Because Xia Li, not Xia Li, she's going to be in the next match. One of the next matches. But Xia Brookside dealing with Rosemary, where I'm going like, why? And then they talked about Xia Brookside being kind to Savannah Evans, and Savannah whoops her ass. And now she goes up against Rosemary. And then, out of nowhere, even though Rosemary grabs a chain, brings it into the ring, supposedly Xia Brookside is so frustrated because she's been losing lately. And I don't know how many matches it's been for her. I think 2 matches? I think. She now resorts to a steel chain, ready to hit Rosemary in the face and then gets missed. That feels like it's rushed. Unless there was more than one match, maybe it's been on Explosion, maybe, I don't know, that she's been losing. But as far as I know, she's lost 2 matches. Not counting when it comes to Rosemary, which, even though she won the match, because Rosemary was disqualified for missing her in the face, but only 2 matches that now she's showing frustration. I don't remember there being more than 2. 3, 4, 5, I don't know. I don't remember that. You guys can tell me below how many matches it's been, but as far as I know, and like I said, I did not see last week's Impact. I didn't because of the situation I've been in. I don't know. That's the best I can talk about. Here's something I gotta say that I'm glad that's happened, but it really doesn't mean a lot. But it is good to see that it happened. JDC faces a Cody Deaner. Now, it's not the fact that Cody got beaten because he got thumbed in the eye. He got thumbed in the eye by JDC. Let's make this very clear. After the design ended, after Violence by Design ended, then the design ended, we always wondered what was going to happen with Cody Deaner. And I heard so many people want the Deaners back, and I said, no, I do not want the Deaners back as they were as Cody and cousin Jake. You got Jake something who really developed himself, and he shouldn't have to take a downgrade. And that would also be a downgrade for Cody Deaner after he was in Violence by Design, and then he took it over as the leader of the design. I wouldn't want to see either one of them have to be downgraded back to the Deaners. That's not what they both deserved. So I'm glad it never happened. But then we got something strange. We got Cody Deaner trying to turn it on its side and say instead of him being the designer, he's letting the fans design him. Now, I wasn't 100% fond of it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. But he's owned it. And the people liked it. And when he was talking, before he went into the ring and said he just got 4 kids now, and then they started cheering the Heath part about he's got kids. He said, no, that's someone else's gimmick, which Heath Slater, he's currently not working for TNA. I don't know what he's doing right now. I think he's not working right now as a pro wrestler. I don't know. If he's either doing indies or he's not wrestling right now. I don't know. But he didn't try to take that gimmick, which is good. But I got to say this. Seeing that he's over with the fans in Full Sail University, it might not have been a big amount of people cheering, but he's owned it for quite a while, and the people have resonated with it. It's not a big resonation, but it's good to see. And after it was over, yes, he lost the match, fine. And yes, he was told, get the hell out of the ring, get on the ground by JDC, and just take it like a man. We had a decent match like all the other matches here. And I will say, because I didn't say this with Wesley and Dorado Kid, that was the best match of the night. But the point is, I did feel something good about Cody. It's not one of the greatest gimmicks, but that he's owned it and he is relevant. This is what people don't understand about relevancy. It's not always about having the main title. It's about being relevant to the fans. And if you're relevant to the fans, a lot of time the promotion will give you more to do, which sometimes gives you more of this. There you go. Now, the next match, which I hinted earlier. Tessa and a Cora Jade versus Marsha, as well as Ling Yang Lee. They haven't done much with Ling Yang Lee. And they need to do something with her. Now that hopefully she's going to be there more often now. Cora Jade, she's my girl. She mine. I mean, she... that's mine. That's mine. You don't like it? Screw you. That's mine. That's mine. If she was in front of me right now, she said, yeah, he's mine. I had to say it once. Come on. I ain't going to get a chance against with that. But you get my point. I like Cora Jade. Yes, she's got a great pair of boobs. But she worked very hard on her character. And her ring work has improved. Now, is it one of the 5-star types of ring work? No. But when you watch the match, and it was a little botchy, just a little. By all 4 of them, there were some botches there, but it was still a good match by all 4 women. And it was Tessa who got the pin on Marsha Slamovich. And when it was over, you got... You see I'm botching here. You know why? Because this is not what I wanted. Look. Cora Jade, I understand she's going to do what she's going to do. She's going to have her match at Sacrifice. But as I said, when it comes to Tessa Blanchard. She cannot rush this. How many months has it been since she's now started working in the company? Barely 2 months. I say about 2 to 2.5 months. She's not only been in the company, officially recognized by the fans, but has been doing segments and now done a few matches. And now she's pinned the world champion. And I'm going to say this right now. Unless Cora Jade wins, which I do not see her winning at Sacrifice. I see a good match between the two. But unless she wins, this was a mistake. A flat out mistake. To let Tessa Blanchard pin a Marsha Slamovich. I'm sorry. This is too soon. It makes you worry that they're going to push Tessa too quickly. And I don't want to see that. I do not want to see Tessa Blanchard moved quickly. I am not for Tessa. I'm not against Tessa. I'm making this clear. I'm not for or against her. The accusations and statements that were done, she's stuck with because she never addressed them openly. None of it. She never addressed it. She never apologized, or she said they are full, flat-out lies. She's never addressed it. So when it comes to this situation, I do not feel that it's right for her to get a pin like this so soon. And if you say, dude, what other choice do they have? They got choices. They can have her go through jobbers. They got women on the roster, and more than that, they can bring in jobbers for Tessa to job for. They can do it. But they chose to let Marsha get pinned. Yes, she got nailed in the face with the title. You're going to say that. I know, but still, that is not the wisest thing to do when you're trying to rebuild someone who's not had a good track record. I'm sorry. This is not about if I like her or not. This is about the perception that many fans are going to have. There's going to be people that's going to be fine with what happened with Tessa, but there's going to be people going to say, why are they rushing this with her? Why did they let her pin Marsha Slamovich now? Even if it was her getting nailed in the face with a title, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you let Cora Jade get the pin? Or better yet, Ling Yang Lee could have taken the pin for Tessa. That would have made it more better, and Tessa could have just gone up against her and had started a feud with her that could stretch for a couple of weeks to maybe a month, which would be good for Tessa. She needs to go through the roster. She needs to go through Xia Brookside. She needs to go through Xia Brookside. You got Ash, and you got Heather. You got Rosemary. You got everyone else that's still on the roster. Why did she have to pin her? I'm sorry. You don't like it? Tough. It's not a smart move, no matter what you think. Now, the two final matches we got, which one was not even a match, the other one was a squash, and the other one was the last match. We had the first match, and it wasn't even a match. It was about Joe Henry about to get a mystery opponent. But that mystery opponent wasn't the one that came out. That was my big brother. I don't have a big brother. Well, actually, I do have two big brothers, but I've never been a big brother. And I would get annoyed at that, or I would be annoying somebody, screaming that. Luckily, I never did that when I was a kid. Oh my gosh. But he comes out and says he wants to take his brother rematch clause. He can't do that. He can't transfer. And pretty much, Ryan gets pretty much chokeslam out of existence. Well, it wasn't chokeslam. It was just him with his hand in his chest going. But you get my point. Final thing, the final match, which was, well, I already know what happened with Hammerstone. I already saw the sights. Hammerstone is gone. He's done. He is no longer working with TNA Wrestling. They're wondering where he's going to go. Is he going to go back to MLW? Is he going to possibly go to WWE? Or is he going to go to AEW? They don't know. But he is done with TNA. And to be honest, it's kind of sad because he really didn't stay very long and he got hurt twice. And they really didn't build anything with him for very long. Yes, he was working with Jake, but that's when he got hurt. So he really didn't have a very good run in TNA. Not saying it was 100% his fault. He did get hurt twice. But damn, it's sad to see a guy who was a mainstay in MLW, who looked like he could be something good. Yes, he's stiff as a board. I know he was stiff. I did MLW wrestling. I did do reviews of MLW back around 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. I did see him. I know what he was like. I did reviews of it, even though I didn't make a playlist of it. I always knew that he seemed interesting, but he was stiff as a board. I didn't say that, but I thought he was interesting. Now, he's gone, and he really didn't get anything done. And he looked like he would have done something very interesting with Jake something, but it didn't happen. We got a decent match, but in the end, knowing what was going to happen, he lost. And then we had a fight with all 10 people that's going into the steel cage, which seems like either a Full Metal Mayhem match or a lockdown match, which probably will not have any weapons. I don't remember the stipulation having weapons. I believe there might be, but if there is, why not call it a Full Metal Mayhem or a lockdown? I would have loved them bringing back the concept of lockdown. That would have been nice, but that's just me. Now, here's where the show really meant the most to me. Now, of course, I could talk about what's going on with, what is it? Maddox, what was the guy's name? Menace Warner. But I'm going to leave that. Because it seems to be rushed. I'm sorry, it did. It feels like it's rushed. They just don't have enough content behind both Sammy and... Look, do I believe Steph Delander's done a good job as a manager? Yes. When it comes to... I barely know Warner. They've done almost nothing with him. And it's only been a few weeks, and now he's supposed to have a street fight with Sammy, which is supposed to end it, which it isn't. But I feel like they should have more content behind them both. It feels rushed. That's all I'm going to say. But the one that I cared about the most, this is the one I cared about the most. Santana and Ali talking with Tom. Guys, this was the best segment out of the show. In fact, I think this is the best segment I've seen from TNA in 6 months. Now, I know you're going to say, what? Yes. Because this was a chance for Santana to really show what he can do when he's put on a spot where they're going to use his drinking addiction as his weakness. Now, this is the first time we've had this before. We've had wrestlers who've gone through this. Look, CM Punk doesn't drink at all. He's like myself. He grew up in an alcoholic's family. He did. I grew up in an alcoholic family and a drug-addicted family. And I'm so lucky, for some weird reason, that I can't stand the smell of cigarettes, the smell of liquor. I don't want to have nothing near me that's a drug. That's the truth. Thank goodness for that. But CM Punk is like me. He doesn't want anything to do with that. So, I can understand what it's like to see someone who's addicted. And seeing that they're using this for him shows two things for me. One, that it's not the first time it's ever been done in TNA, but it does mean they trust him enough that they're giving him a prominent storyline with Ali, which is actually pretty damn good. The second one is that they're really beginning to show some signs of investment in him. Look, it's not the point of you winning a title. It's about you being relevant to the fans, which, if you're relevant enough, the company will think that you're relevant enough for them to be relevant enough for the company. Now, it doesn't always mean you win a title, but they will put you in prominent storylines that will make you important enough that not only you'll be near the top of the card in a pay-per-view or a TNA Plus show, or you will be at the top of a TNA show or a TNA Plus show, and they will give you the money that you've earned. Also, merch. And that's something that it looks like they might be doing with Santana. Santana, I think the title I'm going to put for this video is Santana might be rising, or Santana is rising. I think Santana is rising would be the best, without a question mark. Honestly, after what I saw, and you see that Mustafa Ali puts that wine out in front of him, and Santana takes his glasses off after he does his talk, and he's gotten really pissed. He is getting pissed that they throw this in his face to try and fuck with him. And then when I knew after he was talking about when he was going to get beaten, that's Ali, I knew he was going to say, your daughter. That was coming. It was obvious it was going there. And he tried to beat up on the great hands and Ali, and even a little bit of Tasha Steelz tried to stop it. He shoves her away. He gets beaten up. And this is what I haven't seen before by anyone. I've seen, I think, Chris Jericho pouring liquor on top of CM Punk. If I'm right, I'm trying to remember. But seeing 100%... No, I think it was Jeff Hardy. I'm not sure. Either Jeff Hardy or CM Punk. But seeing that they take a glass, pour it, put it right near him while he's on the ground beaten up, and you see Santana trying to struggle up, and he sees that damn liquor in front of him. I think that was one of the best examples of temptation, but defiance at the same time. He sees this angry, but he's got to be defiant against Ali. But he's got to be defiant against his own addiction. He wants to prove that he can be the man of this company. And I truly believe that this is one of the best segments I've ever seen him in. And one of the best segments I've ever heard someone do in maybe up to 6 months. When it's a story. Not just doing a match, story. But this is just me. Peace. And I will be doing Sacrifice unless the situation in my building acts up again and it messes with my anxiety. Right now, for the last couple of days, it's been pretty peaceful. So I'm very thankful for that. But like I've said, it just depends on what's going on in the building. Peace.